Welcome to another episode of Management Unplugged by GR. Today, we're diving into forecasting and, let's be honest, why so many businesses are getting it completely wrong. Think about it. Sales, inventory, staffing, pretty much everything important in business is about predicting what's coming next. And yet, so many of us are making these huge decisions by staring straight into the rearview mirror. Well, today, we're going to stop driving blind. We're going to start treating forecasting not as some kind of dark art, but as the superpower it really is, the thing that separates the pros from the amateurs. So let's just forget the guesswork. Let's forget those rusty, flawed methods you might have picked up along the way. It is time to upgrade your toolkit. We're about to swap out those old hand-crank drills for some serious power tools, the kind that actually work in the real, messy world of business. First up, let's talk about the biggest trap I see people fall into. The simple average. It feels so natural, right? Just add up all your past sales and divide. It's simple, it's clean, and it is almost always dead wrong.
See, a simple average pretends we live in the world on the left. This nice, calm, predictable place where things are stationary, just hovering around a steady number. But we all know we live in the world on the right, a roller coaster of upward trends, seasonal rushes, and total surprises. A simple average looks at all that rich, crucial information and just smushes it together, treating it like meaningless noise. It completely misses the point.
All right, so what's the first attempt people make to get a little smarter? Well, that brings us to moving averages. Now, this is a step in the right direction, but as we're about to see, it's a pretty clumsy one.
The idea sounds reasonable. Instead of averaging everything, you only average, say, the last 3 months or K periods. A new month comes in, the oldest one gets dropped, and the window moves. It feels a bit more current, but it has this huge fundamental flaw baked right in. And this right here says it all. A moving average is always looking backward. It is literally like trying to drive a car forward by looking only in the rearview mirror. If your sales are trending up, your moving average forecast will always be too low. It's forever playing catch-up, showing you where you just were, not where you're actually headed. And on top of that constant lag, it's also a data hog. You have to keep all those recent numbers stored just to do the calculation. Plus, at its core, it's still completely baffled by trends and seasonality. It's just a clumsy tool. We can do so much better. So let's get to the real breakthrough. This is the heart of modern, practical forecasting. This is where things get really smart and really elegant. Let's talk about exponential smoothing. This is the simple, powerful question that changes the entire game. Instead of treating all our history equally, what if we just decided that what happened last month is way more important for predicting next month than what happened last year? It's such a simple idea, but oh man, the consequences are profound.
And this chart shows you exactly what I mean. Just look at the simple average on the left. It gives equal weight to everything in the past. In the middle, the moving average is a little better. It ignores the distant past, but it still treats everything in its little window equally. But now, look at exponential smoothing on the right. It gives the most recent data the most weight, and as you go back in time, the importance just smoothly and elegantly fades away. It's brilliant.
Now, this powerful idea isn't just one single method. It's better to think of it as a whole family of specialized tools. It's a forecasting toolkit with a specific, perfect instrument for every single job. The foundation of this family, the place we start, is single exponential smoothing, or SES. This is your go-to tool when your data is what we'd call noisy, but doesn't really have a clear trend up or down. So think of stable daily sales that have some random, unpredictable little jumps and dips. There's no big upward trend, no obvious seasonal pattern. SES is designed perfectly to smooth out all that noise and find the true signal hiding underneath.
And the way it works is so cool. It's like a smart thermostat. It has this little control dial, a smoothing constant called alpha. You can think of alpha as the thermostat's sensitivity. If you set a high alpha, it's like a super sensitive thermostat. It reacts instantly to the last forecast error. If you set a low alpha, it's more cautious, smoothing out the random blips to focus on the stable pattern. It literally learns from its mistakes.
Okay, but what if your data isn't flat? What if your sales are clearly, obviously trending upward month after month? Well, for that, you need an upgrade to the toolkit. You need Holt's linear method.
Holt's method takes that beautiful simplicity of SES and adds a second critical dial, another smoothing constant called beta. And beta's only job is to watch the trend, the slope of your data. This is what finally allows the forecast to stop lagging behind. It doesn't just see the level, it sees the direction and speed and projects that into the future. It's a game changer.
All right, time to bring out the heavy hitter. What if your data is even more complex? What if you have both a trend and predictable repeating seasons? You know, like ice cream sales that trend up over the years but also spike every single summer. For that, you need the deluxe model, the Holt-Winters method.
Yep, Holt-Winters adds our third and final dial, a constant called gamma. And gamma is built specifically to handle seasonality. It identifies those repeating patterns, learns their shape and size, and bakes them right into the forecast. So now you're accounting for the base level, the trend, and the seasonal rhythm of your business. That's the whole shebang.
So, you've got this incredible toolkit with all these specialized models. How in the world do you know which weapon to pull out for which fight? Well, the good news is this isn't guesswork. It's a science.
You start by just looking at your data, and then you match its pattern to this table. It's that simple. If you look and see no real trend and no seasonality, top left box, you use single exponential smoothing. Got a trend but no seasons? You move to the right, Holt's method. Got seasons but no clear trend? You move down. And if you've got both, bottom right corner, that's when you bring out the big gun, Holt-Winters. You just match the tool to the data pattern.
And how do you really know you chose the right one? You make them compete. You run a few different models on your past data and you measure the errors. You use standard metrics like mean squared error or mean absolute percentage error. And whichever model gives you the lowest error score, that's your champion. It wins. You let the data tell you which forecast is best.
All right, let's put this all together and bring it home. Here's the takeaway. Here is your playbook for forecasting smarter, starting right now.
Here it is, your 4-step plan. Number 1, just ditch the simple average. Promise me you'll stop using it. It's useless for real-world data. 2, recognize that moving averages will always leave you playing catch-up. 3, embrace the core idea of exponential smoothing, that what just happened matters most. And finally, number 4, look at your data, identify its pattern, and pick the right specialized tool for the job. At the end of the day, great forecasting isn't about having a crystal ball. It's about having a professional-grade toolkit and knowing how to use it. So the question I'll leave you with is this: is your forecasting toolkit really up to the job? That's all for this explainer. See you later. Bye-bye.